This lighting is gonna be super shitty. Hi guys, my name is Bobby. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm doing a list of books that I wish I had gotten to in 2019. Thank you to my subscriber Natalia for this really awesome idea. Now, I kind of plan to do something kind of like this, but most people want to know what I'm excited for in 2020, and I really suck at following new book releases. I usually hear about it from other booktubers. I need to start doing some research online to see if I can find lists of books that are coming out, because it'd be nice to know ahead of time. I know the new Mark Lawrence book comes out in April. It's called Girl Made of Stars, or some Girl Stars something. Girl Made of Stars is the Ashley Herring Blake book. It's like a girl and stars and something. It's on my Goodreads. It doesn't even have a cover yet, but it's due in April 2020. It's a book that's the start of a new trilogy that takes place in the same world as the Book of the Ancestor, like Red Sister and all that. But it takes place in the Ice North, and I'm so excited for it. Anything in that world, I'm dying for. But yeah, Natalia had asked me if I would do books that I thought, or that I wanted to get to in 2019 that I didn't get. These are all backlist titles. These are all books that are on my physical TBR. I just totally took them off my shelves. And there's quite a bit, so we need to get started, because as you can see, the light is shit. It is 10 a.m. in the morning, and it is cloudy and foggy. It's been really foggy for 2 days, so it's extra dark. So I apologize. I tried putting my overhead light on, and that just made me all yellow and disgusting. So yeah, hopefully in editing I can brighten it up a bit, because this video is dark, and I apologize, and I know that the lighting is shit. The summertime is way much better to film when all you have is natural light. But anyways, let's get started. So the first book that I really wanted to get to, and it was on a couple of TBRs, was Queen of Ruin by Tracy Banghart. This is book 2. This came out in July. This is book 2 to, I don't know if it's, Grace and Fury was the first one. This is the second book. This is a story of two sisters who live in a dystopian fantasy world. It's kind of dystopian, where, let's see if I can remember this right. It's kind of along the same lines of Girls of Paper and Fire, only a little bit. In this world, everybody's human, and the king chooses 12 graces, or 12 graces, I think, every year, who are like his concubines, but they're kind of like his wives, too. So he has a wife who's queen, and she, gives him heirs, but he has what he's called graces, and they're just there to sleep with him and be pretty, and he picks 12 new ones every year. And in this world, girls train from a young age to be graces, and there's two sisters. I can't remember their name. It's been so long since I read it. Serena and Nomi. Not Naomi, Nomi. So Serena and Nomi, and Serena has been training since she was a very young girl to be a grace, and Nomi is always wanting to do boy things, she's the typical tomboy or whatever, so she's always kind of trained to be her sister's handmaiden, so that if she is chosen to be a grace, she will go with her and be her handmaiden. Little twist of fate in the first book, Nomi gets chosen as a grace for the new prince instead of Serena, because the new prince is getting ready to take over for his father, and so he was picking his first graces, and he chooses Nomi over Serena, so then Serena becomes her handmaiden. In this world, it is illegal for women to know how to read, and Nomi knows how to read because her brother taught her how, and which is totally against the law. Nomi steals a book from the royal library, and it gets blamed on Serena, and so Serena gets shipped to this island, which is a prison for women, and where they pretty much are made to do a fight to the death, Hunger Games style, only it's not fully teams. It's every week or whatever, they put 2 people up to fight against each other on the island. They've all the women are split up into these different camps, so it's very much gladiator fighting, little bit of Hunger Games in there. I would say a little bit of Girls of Paper and Fire, but this came first. Stuff like that. It was really good. I really enjoyed the first book. I know a lot of people didn't really like it. I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed the women, the female power, and them being empowered and wanting to do something for themselves and kind of fight back against the system. But it was really good, and the way it ended, I couldn't wait to get to book 2, and this book isn't very long at all. It's not even 300 pages, or damn near, and I just never picked it up. So this is one I'm definitely going to read in 2020, and I'm just so kicking myself. I need to look and see when book 3 comes out, because if book 3 comes out this July, I need to read this one before I can read the third one. Okay, that was a really long explanation, and some of these are sequels, so I need to speed this up. Next on my list is Bloody Rose by Nicholas Eames. I have talked ad nauseum about Kings of the Wild. Absolutely loved it. This is book 2. I know he's making a book 3. Cody, my dear friend from Cody's Book Corner, bought me this as a present for my birthday. And I've got the slip in here where I stopped reading it. Yes, for my birthday. I did start reading this. I got almost 100 pages in, about page 78, 79, and I stopped. I think I just wasn't in the mood for it. I was so used to the guys in Kings of the Wild, and I mean, this is a sequel, but it's more of a companion. So in the first book, you're following a band of guys who, like, in this world, there's bands called mercenaries, and they call them bands, and it's like Nicholas Eames plays on, like, how they're, like, rock stars, and they're treated like rock stars, and they have parades for them, and all this shit. But there's a band called Saga, and all the guys are old. They're in their, like, 40s, 50s. They've broken up. They've all gotten, like, fat and old, and some of them are alcoholics and all that. But this girl right here, Rose, is Golden Gabe, who is the leader of Saga, is his daughter, and she's stuck in this city that is under siege by all these crazy mythical creatures, and she's gonna die if she stays there. And so he gets the band back together to travel across the entire Heartwild to rescue her. And that's the first book. This book is a companion, but you follow Rose, who is now called Bloody Rose, and she leads her own band, and they're like in the best band. And so I don't know, I'm pretty sure like some of the boys might make cameos in this, but it's more about Bloody Rose and her band. And it's not that I didn't enjoy the book, I was enjoying it, it's just I wasn't in the mood for it. Rude. And so I put it down. So I really want to finish this because, you know, I loved Kings of the Wild, and I read Kings of the Wild because of Cody, and then she bought me the sequel, and I still haven't read it, and I really need to read Bloody Rose because I love Kings of the Wild. So this will definitely get read in 2020. Next, I think I will tackle this stack, which I should take that first one off. I would like to read the rest of Mark Lawrence's books that I have not read yet. So I started the Broken Empire, I think, trilogy. So I read Prince of Thorns last year, but I still need to read King of Thorns and Emperor of Thorns, books 2 and books 3. I don't know why I never picked it up. It's a grimdark fantasy trilogy, and it's where, I mean, I think this was his first, and the protagonist is an asshole, and he's very, very, very unlikable and very dark, and he's really hard to follow. But I did enjoy it. I just haven't picked it back up. And then I have these 3, which is the Red Queen's War trilogy. Prince of Fools is book 1, The Liar's Key, and then The Wheel of Oshim. This takes place in the same world as this, but it doesn't have anything to do with that storyline. It's just in the same world. So I haven't even started these, and I need to read these as well. But I'd like to finish all of Mark Lawrence's past works so that I'm all caught up on his stuff before I read his next one. I know he's been releasing these novellas on like Kindle Unlimited, but they're kind of sci-fi and they don't really interest me. I love his fantasy, so I would like to get the rest of his, so 5 of these, because I've already read the 1, read in 2020. Gotta go fast. Okay, next on my list is The Black Prison by Brent Meeks. I tried reading this year. I was buddy reading this with my subscriber Monica. We got 138 pages in. I think she got a little further than me, and then I got really burnt out. I think I tried to read this after another big fantasy. I can't quite remember, and I just got fucking burnt out on it. So I would like to try this again. Monica, I'm sure, would buddy read it with me again. Because I've heard so many good things about this series, and I think we could easily get through it. I mean, I'm already almost through The Shadow of What Was Lost, and, you know, that one's just as thick as this one. This one might be a little longer. Nope, actually a little shorter by a couple pages. So I'd really like to get to this, because I know the final book, I think it's The Blinding Knife, just came out, and so I need to get started on this series, because I was enjoying it, and this is a high fantasy that takes place in a world where the magic system is totally centered around colors and the color prism, and it was very interesting. So we just need to pick it back up. Monica, we need to pick a date and pick it back up. Speaking of Monica, next on my list is Malice by John Gwynne. This is kind of a cheat, because she just got this for me. I got it like a week or so ago. So I guess I don't even know why it's on this list, but it's a backlist book, and this will be another one that I will read. And if you watched my vlog when I received this book, I didn't know if it was from her, from Cody, like by process of elimination, and it was for Monica. She did get a hold of me and say, oh my god, I can't believe my name wasn't on it, but that's for me. So yeah, I would like to read this in 2020, and I guess I just put it on here because it is a backlist. I have no idea what this is about. The back says the world is broken and it can never be made whole again, and it's got like 4 different characters and like stuff about them and something about the banished lands. And all I know is that it's a medieval high fantasy, and obviously I'm getting into that shit now. And Holly over at Holly Hearts Books talked highly of this, so I would like to I would like to pick this one up, and so I will definitely talk to Monica and figure out when we can start this big chunky beast, which is what? 600 pages. What is it with me and the 600 fucking page books over here? And I'm looking at the rest of them and they're all huge. Next on my list is Calibans War from James S.A. Corey. This is a fantasy opera, not fantasy opera, sci-fi opera series, which is the Expanse series. This is book 2. I read book 1, where is it? Leviathan Wakes with Cindy. Earlier this year, like was it the beginning of the summer, I think. This is book 2, which was kindly gifted to me by Cody at Cody's Book Corner. Again, for my birthday, I believe. And I would like to pick this one up. There's 8 or 9 books in this series, and I believe it's still going. So, Cindy, you and I need to figure out when we need to read this. So many fucking body reads. But yeah, I really enjoyed this book, or the first book. This is a space opera that takes place in the future, but in our own time period line. It's not like a it's super far in the future, and most of it takes place on space, but like Earth is still livable and people still live on Earth. It's just people now live in space as well. So it's not like a dystopian where we've all moved on and we've left Earth behind. Earth is still very much alive and thriving. It's just, it's overpopulated and people have moved out into the space. Then you have people who are on Mars, you have people who are living on the moon, and you have people who are living on what's called the Belt, which is, they live in the Milky Way pretty much, in the asteroid belt, and they are people who are born on the belt called Belters. You know, they are human, but they look a little different because always living in a compressed air, like with no gravity, like makes your body do different things. And like, I think they tend to be shorter, or is it taller? One of those, but like their body dynamics are a little bit different. But anyways, I know this is a TV show. I'm not necessarily interested in watching the TV show. I just really enjoyed the first book. It was really fucking good, and I want to continue the series. So Cindy, we will need to figure this out. Again, all the buddy reads. Next on my list is the only book on my physical TBR by Kristen Hanna that I have not read, and that is The Great Alone. I've had this book for a long time. It is a book of a month book, and it says February 2018, but I didn't get it as my book of the month that month. I think I got it later in the year. I think it was after I read Nightingale and then again Firefly Lane. I figured I better pick up The Great Alone because it's probably something I'm going to want to read. It's the only one of hers that I own that I have not read yet. I know Vicky read it and liked it. From what I know about this, it takes place in the 1970s, and it follows a girl and her parents, and her dad is a Vietnam vet, and he has severe PTSD, and they move from the city out into the wilds of Alaska, and they have to deal with the Alaskan wilderness, plus the fact that her dad has PTSD and is really abusive. So from what I understand, it's a more dark and sad Kristen Hanna, but it's one that I need to read because that will get me all caught up on the ones of hers that I want to read. I'm a liar. There is another one of hers. I think it's called Magic Hour on my TBR. It's small, but it's still a Kristen Hanna book. But this one is like a popular one of hers that I still haven't read that I need to get to in 2020. Okay, I guess we'll just finish off that stack. Next on my list is Kingsbane by Claire Legrand. This is the sequel to Furyborn. This is a YA, I believe it's YA fantasy series that takes place in a world where there's a Blood Queen and a Sun Queen. Not a lot of people talked about Kingsbane after it came out. Furyborn was like huge last year, or 2017, 2018. It was huge. And Kingsbane didn't get a lot of talk. I mean, it did, but it didn't. Most people said they didn't like it. It was a disappointing second book. I really enjoyed Furyborn. There was quite a few people who didn't. I believe Cody was one who didn't really like Furyborn at all, and I enjoyed it way more than she did. But yeah, I'm curious to get to Kingsbane. I don't even think Cody continued on. I think that she didn't read it at all. But yeah, I do want to read it. This one's a lot thicker than Furyborn. But this goes back and forth between two women on two different timelines. You have Riel, who's in the past, and what's her butt in the future. Because, you know, Eliana. In the future or in present day. One's the Sun Queen, one's the Blood Queen. They have the ability to wield all of the elements. There's elemental magic in this world. Which I love elemental magic. And then the big bad, or what they're fighting, is angels. I guess angels are the ones that had given them their powers originally or whatever. They were locked behind this wall by the saints. Like, there's all this mythical angels, gods kind of thing that with elemental magic. I really enjoyed it. That was a really shitty explanation, but I really need to get to Kingsbane in 2020 because I'm sure book 3 will be out sometime next year. and I haven't even read this one yet. Next on my list is Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. Like, this beautiful book with the black sprayed edges is one that I've had on a couple TBRs. I really want to read it. This is Lesbian Necromancers in Space. This came out in October, I believe. I pre-ordered it because Mel to the Any, it's one of her favorite books of the year. And I really want to read this, but I'm also scared because there's a lot of people who said it was very fucking confusing and it was kind of slow to read, and that makes me nervous. But I still want to read it because out of all of these books, this is one of the skinniest. All of the books I've held up are like well over 500 fucking pages. But Gideon the Ninth needs to happen soon in the beginning of the new year. Two more left. Second to last is a definite backlist book, and that's Unsub by Megan Gardner. This is one that I had originally started to read, I think before I even started my booktube channel. I heard about it from Chelsea. She's on Instagram and Goodreads. I can't remember her last name. And I can't remember his name either. They're friends, and they both have really good Goodreads and Instagrams. They run the Scared Straight Reads book club. I can't remember, but I think they both read this. This is book 1 in a series, and I believe the second book's already come out. Like, I don't remember when this was published. 2017. So if I remember, this is about a girl who was a narcotics cop. This is definitely a cop drama, murder mystery, serial killers, and her dad used to hunt serial killers, but he's now retired and kind of not all there anymore, and she is moving from narcotics into homicide, and there is a killer, a serial killer, that I believe is mimicking somebody else's crimes from before, somebody her dad caught, and they call him an unsub, which is something in the criminal profiling. That's what they call somebody who is a serial killer or killer that they have not identified. And so it's her following and catching this killer. So I believe that's what the series is her doing that kind of thing. I really love criminal profiling. I find it super fucking fascinating. Candace DeLong on Investigation Discovery is one of my favorite humans on this earth. I love watching her stuff. I love watching her in Deadly Women. Like, she's amazing. And I love anything that deals with FBI criminal profiling. So if you have any recommendations on books like that, I would love to put them in the comments, please. I love that kind of stuff. And this book I'd started reading, put it down and never picked it back up, and I was reading it on Kindle. So I ended up finding, did I get this like book outlet, I think? And so I got it. I'm really excited to get to this one because it's a backlist that I've had for a couple of years. And the final book on my list is, I literally came in the mail 2 days ago, and I'm counting it because it is a backlist. It was published in 2017. I think it's every 2 years. Yeah. It's published in 2017, so it counts as backlist, even though I just started reading the first book last month. And that's An Echo of Things to Come by James Islington. This is book 2 in the Lycanius trilogy. So this will probably get started by the end of this month and go into January. But yeah, I'm almost done with The Shadow of What Was Lost, and it's so fucking good. And I know it's going to end on a cliffhanger. I'm going to need to read the next one. It is a thick bitch. It's thicker than The Shadow of What's to Come. I think it's 10 or 15 pages longer. It's over 700. I know that. Oh, way more. It's like 30 pages more. It's like 729. So she's thick. She's super thick. But I've already talked to Cindy. She already bought her copy. I immediately bought my copy. We will be continuing this. We will be buddy reading it. But this was one of the best finds ever. Thank you to Jess at Jess Reads Books for recommending this. This is freaking awesome. But another huge brick to read in 2020. I'm so glad I'm out of my reading slump because now I just want to read all the fucking books. But yeah, this will definitely get read. Probably get started in December if I'm completely honest. But yeah, it counts because it's backlist. It counts. Doesn't matter if I just started reading the first book last month, 2 months ago, last month. Still counts. Okay, guys, that's it. Those are the 10-ish books that I would like to get to in 2020. I say ish because the Mark Lawrence books I'm counting as 1 instead of, well, that would make it 11. I can't count today. But it is the 10-ish. It's about 11, 14, 15 if you count them all. Who's counting anyways? I just screwed up my own outro because I talk too much. But those are the books that I'd like to get to in 2020 that I didn't have time to get to in 2019. Let me know, please, if you've read any of these books, what you thought of them. Give me your opinions. What should I prioritize? What would you guys like to see me read first? And I will try to get to them as soon as possible. But But that's it for today, guys. Please like and subscribe. Leave me a comment. I love connecting with you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.